Hi there. Today I am going to show you how to install Ubuntu server using Oracle VirtualBox. This would be part of series, which I am planning to make to set up Ubuntu virtual cluster. So we start with creating master node. So I have opened the Oracle VirtualBox and I'm going to set up a new operating system for master node. To master, I will write it here and I'll put the memory size to 2 GB. Okay, and I'll keep the disk space of this virtual machine to 10 GB only. So next I will click on the settings, and in the system tab I'll increase the number of CPUs from 1 to 2. Next I will set up the network configuration. The first adapter which I am going to select, it would be of internal network, which would be our private network. The second one would be used for connecting with the internet, and it is selecting my router port. Now I will going to click on the start button. Now I have already have downloaded the Ubuntu server. So if you want to download, then you can go to this particular URL and click on the server. Okay, you can also download the desktop version, but I have downloaded the server version and I have clicked on this download button to download the Ubuntu server. So next I am going to click on the start button. So it will start the installation process. It takes some time, to install. The language I am going to select English. Then I click on done. Again I will click on done. So if you see, my first network or my first Ethernet is a DHCP one, and the second one is my the first one is not set up, but the second one is a DHCP, which is getting its IP from my DNS server. Okay, click on done, and again done. Continue. I'm going to put my name followed by the server name. Here I will put it at master. I'll pick a username and set up password. Done. I'm not going to install anything. We are going to install them manually. Done. I'm not going to install any other binaries, so I am skipping this and clicking on done. So now it is installing the operating system. Okay, so I'm going to pause the recording now. Once the installation is done, I'll resume. As you can see, my Ubuntu installation has been completed, and then it is rebooting now. So the reboot has been completed. Now I'm going to log in. Put my username and my password. Now I have logged in. Okay, now if I want to see what is my IP address, so if you see, there are two Ethernet I have set up. One is ENP0S3, which hasn't been configured, and one is ENP0S8, which has got um, IP address from DHCP. Okay, so I will use now desktop terminal to log into this system. If you see the IP address, the IP address ends with 144. Okay, I will type SSH Sumit at 192.168.0.144. Yes, and type my password. So I have logged in now into this Ubuntu virtual server. I will make myself as root. Now what I'm going to do is install some binaries. Okay, one of them I'm going to install is DNS server. Next, which I'm going to install would be NAT, and then NFS server. At the end I would be installing the NTP. Okay, so let us start with DNS. So I'll first update my binaries and install NAT tool. It won't take much time. So while it is installing, let me copy the next set of commands. Next, what I am doing is I am changing the host name to master.cloud.com. Okay, so let me paste this command. So if I type host name, it will give me master.cloud.com. Now next what I am configuring is, as you just saw that my second Ethernet is DHCP, but my first Ethernet is not set up. So using this I am going to set up or provide a static IP to my next Ethernet. Okay, so let me copy this. In order to apply this configuration, I need to execute this command, netplan apply. Now if I see my network configuration, then you will see it has been assigned a static IP. Next I am going to install some bunch of binaries. One is for DHCP server. Okay, and next would be wget to download other binaries. This one is for setting up NFS common. Bind is to set up DNS server. NTP is for setting up NTP. GCC and make is to compile other binaries which may be required or not required. Okay, let me copy these. Now these binaries are getting installed. I'm going to pause this the recording now. Once the installation is completed, then I'll resume it. So binary installations are completed. Now let's execute next set of commands. Okay, now from here, these commands which you are seeing right now is to set up the DNS server. Okay, so let me copy them. Now I'm going to restart the app armor. Now I'm going to set up the forward and reverse. I'll restart the DNS server. Everything worked fine. Now let me set up a DHCP server so that it can communicate with the DNS. And this will restart the DHCP server. Okay. Now this set of command is basically to set up this new name server, the DNS server which I have set up to be referred whenever I am going to ping any private network server. Let me change the ownership here. So now my DNS setup is completed. So if I ping my master on my current VM, okay, it is referring to my loopback port. But if I type master.cloud.com, then you see it is referring to my DNS server. Now it is getting, its IP is getting resolved from my local DNS server. Next I am going to set up NAT so that the internal network can connect with internet. Okay. Next I am going to set up okay, let me first set up NTP first. Okay, this is very simple. NTP is set up. Next I'm going to set up the NFS server. Let me install the NFS server first. And what I'm doing is that I'm creating a new directory and I'm exporting it on the NFS server. So if I go to export directory, I should be able to go there. Let me create a temporary file here. Okay, so what our plan is that if we set up other virtual machines and export this NFS directory, then these files should be available there also. That is the plan. Okay, now as you can see, all the setup for the master server is done. So next what I'm going to do is to set up the child server, child nodes, and they will get their IP addresses from this DHCP server which I have just set up, and their names will be resolved by the local DNS server. Okay, so see you next time. Bye bye.